Okay guys, so what this video is for and this bit of work is to walk you through, you've already done these sample papers, but I'm going to walk you through an exemplar paper. So on MCAS I've uploaded a sample paper which you can print off, and basically you fill this in, fill the paper in as I'm going through. Now this is getting you ready for your year 12 mock exam, and it's all about the exam technique as well as looking back at some knowledge that you should already have. So let's get going. So first thing, just like in GCSE, you'll open the exam paper. When you open the exam paper, the first thing you are going to write on it is this. So hopefully you've printed yours off and you're doing the exact same as I'm doing now. So same as before, write your Access FM as soon as you sit down. Okay, so if you've forgotten what they are, I'm writing them on screen now. Ergonomics. Wow, imagine I could spell sustainability, safety, function, and materials. Now materials is based into the M's, materials, manufacture, and maintenance. Maintenance. I don't really like that one. So you're going to write that first thing on your paper. Same thing you should have done in GCSE. The other thing you should be writing on your paper is the 6 R's of sustainability. In order, okay? Which, if you remember, are refuse, rethink. Which basically means, do you need it? Do you actually have to make it in the first place? This is your straws, stuff like that. Reduce. Reduce the amount of materials, reduce the amount of manufacturing process it needs to go into to make it. Then you want repair. So while you're designing it so it can be repaired. Also that reduces, can you make it or optimize the design so it does the job without as many parts. Okay, so you've repaired it, so you've designed it so it can be repaired. Then you can reuse it. So once the thing can no longer be used for its actual thing, once it's been repaired so many times, can it be reused for another purpose? You know, can it be used as a pencil case or a part taken off and used somewhere else? Okay. Then we've got, don't forget, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, recycle. Remembering recycling's all the way down the line because it uses energy to recycle, and certain things like plastics can only be recycled about 3 times. So that's why this one's all the way down there. And then the final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is recover. And that's where, you know, if anything's biodegradable, it can be sent off to all the nutrients go back into the earth, can be used again to plant, compost, stuff like that. Or can you burn it, like we have in the Veolia plant in Sheffield, where we can burn our rubbish to create heat, to create energy, so we're getting the energy back out of the litter at the end of the products. So that's the first thing you write on the first page. Okay, dead easy. Now next thing, when this thing allows me to scroll down, is let's go through the first question. Now guys, the first question is about this one thing. So it says name one. So this one you have to know the answer, the exam technique. There's no way of getting out of it. Okay, name one thermopolymer that's suitable for the foam liner of the bicycle helmet. Explain. So it's saying that this bit, this is the foam liner. All right. Now you could sit there and think, oh God, I don't know any of these. Now, as long as you remember for this question that basically, what's this been added to it to make it cushion? So if you looked at the cushion, oh right, so hang on, it's going to have to be what type of plastic? Expanded. So if you write something in here, you know, expanded polypropylene, expanded polystyrene. As long as you've got that word expanded, yeah, to show that it's going to stop impact, you're going to get the mark. Okay, but if you've read the question correctly, name one thermopolymer and explain why it's going to be used. So even if you've done the revision and worked out what plastic you needed, as long as you could explain why that plastic was expanded or whatever, so that basically reduces the amount of force, you'd have got the mark. Okay, so this would need a connective. It is this because, and you've put a connective into this question to get you 2 marks. All right, and if we look at the mark scheme, which I have here, which I'm not sending you guys, you'll notice expanded polypropylene, expanded polyurethane, whatever, and basically it's saying it's this as or because it's a crushable form or whatever. But I'm not going to keep showing you the answers because you're going to write the answers in the way you're meant to. Okay? So, next one. Typical adult's medium-sized cycle helmet weighs 400 grams. The shell straps and clips make up 5/8 of the total weight. The volume of the thermopolymer foam is 0.003. Now, this is where you have to be careful on the maths questions. What are the units? Okay. Calculate the density of the thermopolymer foam used in grams per centimetre cubed. So, what you need to do is this, guys. So, first of all, it's saying that it's 400 grams for the whole thing. The shell straps and the clips make up 5/8 of the total weight. The volume of the therm foam. So everything else, the 3/8 of that, is going to be the foam. So what you need to do is this. You need to work out how much 3/8 of 400 is. So the way to do that would do 400 divided into 8 times by 3, and that will give you your grams. Now, the second thing you'll have to do is convert this number, which is in meter cubes, into centimetre cubes. Okay? So what you then do is you calculate the density of it. So basically, all you have to do, I'm trying not to show you the answer here, but I'm going to probably end up, is turn the 3 into 3,000. You should have got 150, and because density equals mass divided into volume, it should give you the answer. Okay? Next one. Now, this is where the exam technique comes in. So, with this one, guys, if you show no working out in the answer, you'll only get 1 mark, even if you get it right. As long as you show the working out as you go along, get the wrong answer or miss, you don't convert the units or other, you're always going to get 1 of the 2 marks. All right? So, next question. B. Bicycle helmets are often ventilated by holes through the shell and the foam liner. The use of the polycarbonate for the shell material enables large ventilation holes that when PET used as a shell material. Explain 2 reasons why polycarbonate is more suitable material than PET, where large ventilation holes are required. Now, if you suddenly went, oh, I don't know the difference between the 2, why would you use the other one? It's just a trick question the way the examiners are asking you. If you think of it like you did in the Year 11 exams, why is this material being used? Now, forget that it says instead of PET. Just say to yourself, why is this material being used? So basically it's saying, what does this need to do, this material, to do its job? Okay? Now, if it was me, I'd be looking at that material and saying, well, that material needs to be tough, or it needs to be hard wearing. So when it hits the ground, it's not going to hurt anyone. Okay? I might think about the material, the machinability. Is it easy to cut? What's it like? And then all you have to do is give some reasons of why that shell is working. And if you're struggling, so if you're sat there and you went, oh, why would you use this material? So forget about the thing about comparing it to the other one. Why is that material doing its job? Now, you should have, let me just flick back through this, see if this modern technology works. Hey, there you are. And if I just scroll down a bit. If you look at the aesthetics, the cost, the customer, the ergonomics, sustainability, safety, functional material, there's probably something in there to give you the answer. So why is that material being used? Because it's lighter weight, it's got a lower weight. Okay, it's more, it's got the aesthetic. Is it easier to print on? Is it whatever? So all it's saying is why is that material used? Okay, and if you do that, you'll get the answers. But again, the answer says explain. If you haven't explained so if you just put it's tough, so it'll take knots, and you haven't explained why, you're not going to get the marks. Okay, now always make sure you incorporate the question into the answer. Okay, so what you would put is, well, polycarbonate is more suitable than PET as it is tougher, therefore it can take more breaks. Okay, now the reason you'll know that this is the reason it's been used and this one hasn't got it is because that one's the one that's been chosen. So again, it's just a question that's meant to scare you a bit and you go, oh, I don't know what PET, I don't know what the difference are. You don't need to. You just need to be able to look at a picture and go, right, well, what does that material need to do its job? Oh, Is it aerodynamics? Is it tough? Is it hard? And you just think of all the things it needs to do, and the ones that fit the best, put that one in. Okay? So, next one. Explain again. So you're going to need a connective. So what you need to do is look at your explain and go to explain why a woven fabric is more suitable for a chin strap than a knitted or non-woven fabric. So it's exactly the same question. Okay? So why is that used? So why is this material used? So what's that chin strap got to do? Okay, so it's got to remain secure. Okay, it's not going to be able to be moved. So does that material stretch? No. Okay, so it's not going to stretch. Is that material strong so it's not going to break? Well, yeah, so it's probably not going to break under high impact or anything like that. Oh, what else? Is there anything to do with sweating or anything like that? So basically it's more comfortable on the skin, or is that really a thing? But that's all you got to think. Right, well, why is this doing its job? And if you can think of what its job is, you've got the mark. So when you come back down to this one, while woven fabric is more suitable, there you go. Woven fabric is more suitable as it is stronger on impact and therefore will not stretch, or something along those lines. And because you've explained it, you'll get the 2 marks. All right? So, there's questions 1, B, 2, C, D. A designer wants to obtain stakeholder and user opinions on several new designs for a bicycle helmet. Okay? Explain 2 different methods of obtaining opinions from stakeholders and users and how they benefit the designer in the design of the bicycle helmet. So, all benefits, so you've got to explain 2 different methods and how they benefit the designer, not anyone else. So you'd be thinking, right, how do I get information from stakeholders and users? All right. So on this, you'd literally go, right, how would I get information from stakeholders and users? Now, think back to all the coursework you've ever done. How have you got opinions or things from stakeholders or users? So for me, straight away, I'd be thinking, right, well, you know, I've done, normally if we were in the class, I'd be writing all over this and stuff like that. I'd be thinking, right, how do I get information? Oh, I've done questionnaires, surveys. Oh, okay, I've done those. Have I done interviews with people? Oh, yeah, I could do an interview. I could do one-to-one interviews like I did in my GCSE coursework. Oh, how else? Focus groups. If I got a select focus of people who are into it, could I get these people around? And then I could get their information back from them. Okay? And then, how would they benefit the designer? So then you've just got to say, why does the designer want this information in the design of the bike helmet? Oh, well, you know, if they got a large survey of a large amount of people, then they'd know what their target market is. Then they would know what they were looking for. Okay? Now, the answers they kind of gave were these ones. Let's have a look. Questionnaires, interviews, street survey, market research, social media. Okay? And if you've said why, you'd use that. Now, the other thing to mention is, remember, you've got your 2 different types of data. So you've got your quantitative, which is all your numbers and stuff. So you can actually take that data, you know, from big surveys and say, right, 40% said that it should be the colour black, 35. But what you can't get from quantitative data is qualitative, is opinions, feeling. That's where you get your focus groups. That's where you get your information from there. So that's the kind of answers that be looking like in that. Now remember, explain with your connective on there. All right? Next one. So product labels provide important information for consumers. Explain again. Notice how pretty much every single question you will do for your A-levels, different from GCSE, is explain. You always have to give your opinion. If you're giving your opinion, you have to back it up with evidence. Okay? Product labels provide important information for consumers. Explain how the information found on product labels on bicycle helmets can reassure consumers. Refer to 2 different types of information in your answer. All right? So, now, I don't think we've covered this yet in the core theory. So, what would a product label show on a bike helmet? Okay? So that's what you're thinking. If you're struggling with this, think about what information is shown on most clothes, labels, things that you get. Now these are the kind of things they'd be looking for. Okay, things that you'll have seen but not noticed them. So CE, or British Standards. So that is, or BSI, that basically means that it's passed through a certain test. Okay, so basically it's had a test put onto it that means it can be sold in Europe or it can be sold in Britain. All right. Excuse me. Assurance means it contains trace. Okay. Labels on helmets may include instructions not to modify or paint or do anything. Instructions may inform consumers that the helmet should be replaced if scratched or damaged. So they're basically safety helmets on them, safety labels on them that are basically saying it must do this, 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 and this. Okay. This one basically is an international standard, all right, of health and safety. So what you would have to do is basically explain two different things you'd find on them. On almost everything sold in Europe or Britain, obviously we've left the EU now, we'll have a Central European or a British Standard label on, so you can always put that down. The second thing is any other label that might be required. Don't use if scratched or damaged, don't paint, don't alter, all those kind of things. And if you're going to put anything about don't altering anything, because obviously that validates the warranty, that's why those things are on there. Okay. Now, we definitely haven't done these type of questions yet. So, what you need to do is this, guys. Manufacturers need to carry out destructive and non-destructive tests on their products before they're sold into the public. Discuss, so that's positive and negatives, how destructive testing of a bicycle helmet might be used to yield information about its performance in use. Okay? So this is all about destructive testing. So if you can't remember, destructive testing is where you deliberately break something. So you break it to its destructive limit. So basically, you can't use that product afterwards. Okay, non-destructives would be a test like repeatedly putting a clip on and off, repeatedly wearing something, simulating wearing something 1,000 times. So it's not going to break, or it's not. You can still use the product afterwards. So it's just saying how destructive testing of a bicycle helmet might be used to yield information about its performance in use. So for this one, these are the kind of things it'd be looking for. Right? So, to get top levels in this, now, the exam technique is whenever you're doing the exam question, is if I was writing here, is 6 marks, okay? Now, wherever you've got one of these, you want to try and use, if you remember, a P. Point, make your points, explain, evidence. Okay, so you make your point. Might be used to yield information. How would you destructive temperance? To find information, a tensile loading test could be put on the straps. Okay, tensile tension loading test on the straps until the maximum weight. Okay. The way you do P, you can do the explain and the evidence each way around. You can either go point, evidence, explain, or point, explain, evidence. It's up to you. Now, your evidence in this one is always referring back to the bike helmet. Okay, so this would be a little paragraph. Okay, the way to write it would be like this. So if I can start up here, is it going to let me? Let me just move there. Always start your paragraph with a little indent in. For the simple reason that the moderator is going to have many, many to mark. Also, you need to check your answers. So if you start a little bit in, so if I put in point, tensile loading test would be carried on the straps of the bicycle helmet as this would, I don't know if I can press enter on this, sorry guys. Can I do it? What just happened there? When things went wrong. Okay, let's move this down here. Test would be carried. Tensile loading test would be carried on the straps helmet as this would. Let me click in here. Oop, what will you do? There we go. As this would enable, as this would yield. Oh, brilliant. Will you let me know? Don't do that. Sorry, guys. how much harder it is teaching in a world where you can't actually see people. As this would, I'm just going to save the rest of it. Let's try and move this down a bit. There we go. Tensor loading test would be carried out on the straps of the bicycle helmet, as this would test the maximum load the strap would be able to take, the nylon strap would be able to take, therefore yielding the information of the highest amount of force able to be applied to the straps. Whatever. Now that would be your little paragraph. You've used the evidence you've linked it back to the question in this one, and you've explained how it's worked. Okay? Now, to get the full marks in these type of questions, what you have to do is this. Go on, you can go away. Let me just get rid of that. Candidate processes a thorough discussion of how destructive testing of a bicycle helmet might be used to yield information about its product and use. Candidates show a mature understanding analysis of the impact testing has on the viability of products. This creates discussion that is both cohesive and well considered. Okay, so let's just see. Variety of tests needs to determine helmet performance. These are different tests you might talk about. So the thing is, it's how many marks? It's 6 marks. Okay, so what you would be looking for this is you'd be looking at, let's just put that back up there. Why doesn't it fit anymore? Anyway, because it's 6 marks down here, you'd be looking at the minimum of 2 different paragraphs. Minimum. Now, if it was me, I'd be trying to get 3 different points across to get in that top mark. So I'd be talking about different tests, and 3 of them, if possible. But if you've got 2 and you've got your P in there, you'll get the marks. Okay? Now, this video is just covering question 1. So what you need to do is, get rid of these horrible things, is you need to be doing question 1. Now, I know some of you have already done this, okay? But now I've gone through exactly how to answer this. I want to see those answers to make sure you're doing them. So remembering all the bits I've just gone through, do the first section up to F, and then I want you to email me these questions. If you've just written them down, write them down, take a photo of them and email them to them. I'm just checking that you're answering them correctly. Okay? So that you've got the exam technique nailed for each of the questions. What I'm going to do next week, guys, is I'm going to set you the next question. Okay, so we'll go through question 2 and I'll show exactly how to answer these, how to work out the maths, how to do everything. And then you'll do question 1 this week, question 2 the week after, 3 the week after that, and I think it just goes to 4 after that. Okay, so you'll have 1 question to do a week. I'm also looking to get you started on your coursework, which I'll be sending out after this. Okay, hope you're all well, and email me across any questions you've got.